we might have ourselves a contender for the best movie of the year. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another review. Today I'm talking about Damien Chazelle's latest movie, Babylon, which hits theaters December 23rd. I was able to see this movie early, and I'm going to give you guys my honest thoughts here. But before I do, be sure to hit that like button. Comment down below your expectations for this movie if you've not yet seen it, or your thoughts on the movie if you have seen it. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified for all of my future reviews, reactions, rankings, all that good stuff. So quick story time before I get into this review. I was invited to an early screening of this movie that was supposed to start at 7 o'clock. Now, the movie's 3 hours and 8 minutes long. It ended up not starting until 8:30, and I was actually with my girlfriend, and we were both very tired at the time because we had waited basically half the length of the movie before it even was going to start, and it was already about an hour drive away, so we decided to leave. Then they rescheduled the screening, and I was on the way back to it, and it started to torrentially downpour right before I got on the very busy highway where I live, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to chill. And then a few days later, I got sent a digital screening of this movie, so all was well, and I finally was able to see it. But now that all that's out of the way, Babylon was one of my more anticipated movies of the year. Damien Chazelle is easily one of the best movie directors today. Whiplash is in my top 5. La La Land's probably my top 15, top 20 all time, and First Man is really damn solid. So to me, based on what I've seen from him, he hasn't really missed, and very happy to say he continues the hot streak with Babylon. To me, this movie is essentially my favorite aspects of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and the movie Boogie Nights combined into one from the mind of Damien Chazelle. And if that doesn't sell you on this movie, I don't know what will. Because my god, is this an epic movie that perfectly chronicles the rise and fall of stars in Hollywood, and it really engrossed me from the start. I mean, from the first few minutes of this movie, it's truly riotous. There is just absolute chaos occurring on the screen, and the movie never really strays away from that. It's fully painting a picture of how wild Hollywood really was in this era right before, you know, talkies or talking movies started to come out. And the first half of this movie really chronicles the rise to fame in Hollywood and how far people are willing to go to have their name heard and become recognizable stars. It really paints an honest picture of the dark side of fame in Hollywood, and that everything's not all sunshine and rainbows when you have all this glamour and fame. And the movie truly tackles the cost of making it in Hollywood. Now, obviously, Damien Chazelle's direction is brilliant here, but the movie's anchored by some fantastic performances, which is pretty obvious at this point. Anytime Margot Robbie's in something, you can come to expect that she's going to crush it, and she 1000% does here. This might be her best performance to date. I don't know. My favorite performance from her is probably in I, Tonya, but she's fantastic here, playing a young actress who, again, will do whatever it takes to get her name out there. And then you've got Diego Calva, who's like the lead role of this movie, another one of those guys who'll do whatever it takes on a film set. He's kind of like the PA that's just getting told, do this, and he's basically an errand boy for all the biggest stars and directors in Hollywood, and it honestly makes for some laugh out loud hilarious moments. Like, the movie is shockingly funny, and I found myself like belly laughing a few times, especially when Brad Pitt's character gets involved, because if you know me, Brad Pitt's probably my favorite actor of all time, and he plays like the veteran actor here who's kind of an alcoholic. It was giving major Rick Dalton vibes. And there was just some lines that had me cackling as I watched this movie. It was truly funny, and I love when like epic drama movies like this can really rely on some humor to kind of get you through. And like I mentioned, the movie chronicles the rise and fall of these stars in Hollywood, which results in the movie being over 3 hours, which is fully warranted in my opinion, because we're spending so much time with these characters and, you know, getting to know the ins and outs of their daily lives, what their goals are, and that entails learning about these characters' background and their lives, what makes them want to be a star. And to me, the movie flies by. I think it's really well paced because I was just so entranced in this story. Like, my eyes were glued to the screen. It's worth noting this movie's sort of a big blender of all these different genres. You've got comedy, of course, drama, but there's sneaky good tension near the end of this movie with a batshit crazy sequence involving Tobey Maguire. I'm not going to say too much just in the sake of spoilers, but a lot of people might not love it. I fully embraced it. If you've seen Boogie Nights, it is 100% accurate to a certain sequence involving Alfred Molina in Boogie Nights, where it's like so wild that you like uncomfortably laugh at times, but you really feel fearful for the characters, and it's just wonderfully pulled off. To me, Babylon is a movie that condemns the dark side of Hollywood, the culture surrounding it, from movie critics to anyone remotely involved with the movie industry. There's one side of this movie condemning the selfish nature of a lot of people who really only care about themselves and will step on anyone's face to get higher up on that fame ladder. But at the same time, it manages to show a deep love and appreciation for movies, the magic of movie making, and how movies truly have a deep emotional impact on all of our lives, and the movie does a good job of showing that while also condemning the dark side of Hollywood. It's rare that a 3+ hour long movie has my full attention from start to finish, and Babylon definitely did. It's not for the faint of heart, however, because there are some really disturbing images here, and not disturbing in the sense of like a saw trap, but more so in terms of just like being grossed out by filth. I personally really loved the very end of this movie. I don't know how it's going to go over with a lot of people. Again, I'm not going to say what happens for the sake of spoilers, but maybe one day I'll dive into that and a live stream or something. At the end of the day, Damien Chazelle knocked it out of the park yet again. Babylon is a big hit in my mind. I think that it's going to get nominated for tons of Oscars. Margot Robbie crushed it, but Diego Calva might be my favorite. His character had so much depth to him, especially near the end of this movie. It was like, my God, I was on the verge of tears. He was so great at the end of this movie. I also just love movies about making movies, and that's exactly what genre this falls under. I was so invested in this story, you know, watching the rise and fall of certain stars in Hollywood as we're transitioning from an era of silent films into talkie films, and then eventually into the musical. There's so much to take in, and really the movie just made me admire movie making, but also look at it through a different lens, as there really is a dark side to Hollywood. The movie touches on both beautifully. Babylon is a movie that I definitely want to give another watch sometime, and probably will be picking up on physical media when it does release. And as of right now, it's a top 3 movie of the year for me. I don't know if it's as good as Whiplash or La La Land, what really can be. I mean, those are just on another level, but over time, Babylon could reach that hype for me. Safe to say that I love this movie, and I love when a movie that I have high hopes for lives up to the hype. And that's exactly what Babylon did. But what do you guys think of this movie? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to hit that like button. If you haven't seen the movie, what are your expectations? Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified for my future reviews, rankings, reactions, all that good stuff. I got tons of videos lined up for the end of the year, so make sure to stay tuned for those. Till next time, we'll see you guys later.